Yogender Yadav ji, the fact is, there are facts, some of which have been stated here by Sanju Verma, what the court said. There is a perception that several members of Mr. Kejriwal's party, which claim to be Kattar Imandar, are now today in jail and have been denied bail. How does this play out when a Kejriwal then comes today and says, arrest me if you can, get a better summons and I will appear before you? Do you believe that that image of Mr. Kejriwal of Kattar Imandar will take a hit if he continues to confront in a way the Enforcement Directorate?
Rajdeep, it all depends on how the larger game of perception gets played out. What we have in this particular instance is there are legal questions about the nature of summon. I'm no lawyer, I can't judge it. In any case, to my mind, that's not the moot point. For the purpose of argument, I will assume that the liquor policy prima facie involves very serious questions. I will assume that some people made huge benefits, 300 crores or whatever, the Supreme Court has said that, so let us assume that. I will also assume that the ED or investigative authorities would like to check with the head of the government, the Chief Minister, whether his involvement was there or not. Assuming all these three things, does it justify what the ED is doing? And that is the larger question. Let's not get limited only to the merits of the case. Let us not judge it only. If this was the only case happening right now, one would always focus on the merits of the case. But Rajdeep, this is happening in a larger context. And unless we put that context here, we cannot even begin to judge this particular case. One, the context is gradually upscaling a political, going up, and finally reaching a political opponent who's been troubling you for long. The second context is, are there similar cases in which no action has been taken? Yes, indeed. Madhya Pradesh, all kinds of cases of corruption. Have they been investigated? Yesterday, Mr. Yogi inaugurates a bridge which collapses. Will that be inaugurated? In Gujarat, the collapse took place 2 years ago. Was that investigated by ED or
Last
CBI?
year, Morbi, yes. But the fact is, Mr. Yogender Yadav, the view,
just a minute. There to investigate
but Mr. Yogender Yadav, there are viewers. There are viewers who are watching who will say, look, corruption is corruption. And if you have put four fingers at people and saying you are guilty till proven innocent, today, Mr. Kejriwal, they will argue, is being hoisted by his own petard. This was the narrative of AAP when you all came through to power through India against corruption. We don't care, the viewers will say, if someone is found guilty of corruption, we can't engage in whataboutery, what happened in Madhya Pradesh, what happened in UP.
Rajdeep, I completely agree that anyone who faces serious accusation of corruption should be hauled up, should be made, a fair inquiry must be held. And if Mr. Kejriwal has to answer questions, he should answer questions. And I'm sure not today, maybe a week from now, 10 days from now, he will have to answer. Of course, every citizen of this country must answer questions. My question links to what you had asked me initially. How would this play out in the public domain? Does the public of this country believe that ED is an independent authority which is going after someone merely because of charges of corruption? No. Today, the perception in the public is that there is no difference between election department of the BJP and the Enforcement Directorate. Both of them are ED. This is the perception, and unfortunately, every single conduct of the ED contributes to this perception, and that's terrible because in the long run, this erodes the authority of an institution. And I'm very sorry to say that one would have imagined that somewhere judiciary or someone in this country would step in and say, what kind of a joke is going on? You go to Rajasthan just when there is assembly election. You go to Chhattisgarh to the secretary of the Chief Minister just before the election. And somehow it doesn't happen in Madhya Pradesh. Somehow it would never happen in Uttar Pradesh. It never happens in Gujarat. I mean, can't someone see the pattern in it? Because if there has to be justice in this country, someone has to look at the pattern. And I'm not at all defending either Manish Sisodia or Arvind Kejriwal or anyone who's accused of corruption.
I take your point,
so
but the fact is...
I'm not arguing on the points of the case. My colleague from Aam Aadmi Party may take that position.
Sure, but you see the context, the pattern, the Supreme Court as of now has not stepped in. In fact, the Supreme Court, as Sanju Verma pointed out, has actually said, at least in Manish Sisodia's case, that prima facie there is enough for his custodial interrogation to continue. So Priyanka Kakkar, you see, whataboutery may not work in this case. What happens in a UP, what happens in a Madhya Pradesh, what happens in Gujarat will not work. Y'all claimed y'all were Kattar Imandar.
I'm not even saying that.
And a Kattar Imandar party has got several of its leaders today in jail.
Please give me 2 minutes, Rajdeep ji. Firstly, because you agreed with what Sanju Verma ji said, that's quite appalling to me, because para 10 and para 12 of the judgment completely demolished what false narration she just gave. The Dinesh Arora approval, it says, difficult to regard the alleged payment. It says Manish Sisodia by Amit Arora through middleman Dinesh Arora is not a charge and not an allegation filed by the CBI. It's incorrect that you supported her on two misrepresentation of facts. Secondly, Rajdeep ji, there is also the question why one ED director has been given extension after extension after extension. 3 illegal extensions, when the Supreme Court categorically said that this influences the independence of the judiciary. Yet the Supreme Court judgment was set aside, kept aside, and an extension had been granted 3 times. That also is a matter of concern.
Okay, therefore, Sanju Verma, just a minute. I ask you this, and I ask you in all honesty. The fact is what Yogender Yadav said. The truth is that today Rajasthan, going to elections, ED lands up there. And today, in fact, 2 ED officials have been arrested there for bribery. The ED doesn't go to neighboring Madhya Pradesh. The ED won't take on the Vyapam scam, for example. The ED seems to believe that Gujarat mein sab kuch theek hai, there is no scam of any kind. Question is this, the ED's integrity and independence. Is that not a worry for you or not?
जवाब दो अभी
बिल्कुल दो
जवाब सुनने की हिम्मत है आपके
अरे मेरे पास बहुत छाती मेरी बहुत बड़ी है 56 की है
56 इंच की छाती आपकी है तो बीजेपी वालों को म्यूट मत करिएगा और अभी ध्यान से मेरा जवाब सुनिए बिकॉज एज यू से ये पब्लिक है ये सब जानती है people can see through the charade of biased panelists and biased anchors and let me tell you this with no offense to you Rajdeep I respect you tremendously and you know that but I will say this to you क्या narrative है कि ED is doing what it is at the behest of the BJP and just give me a minute. I want to ask now a question to counter what the narrative is, the prevailing narrative. Has Senthil Balaji been given a clean check by the Supreme Court? No. Has Partha Chatterjee of TMC involved in the SSC recruitment scam been given a clean check? No. Has Anubrata Mandal involved in the cattle smuggling scam been given a clean check? No. Has Manish Sisodia been given a bail? No. Has Satendra Jain been given a clean check? No. Has Rahul Gandhi out on bail in the National Herald scam been given a clean check? No.
You're changing the goalpost.
Please wait.
You're changing the goalpost, ma'am. I asked you, are you saying...
You said you will not interrupt me. Let me take 30 seconds more. 30 seconds
I'm counting,
more.
yes.
Yes. Now, the fact that Rahul is out on bail, Sonia Gandhi is out on bail, P. Chidambaram is out on bail, Karti Chidambaram is out on bail, Robert Vadra is out on bail, Tejasvi Yadav is out on bail, his sister Rohini Acharya is out on bail, Ashok Gehlot's son, Yadav Gehlot, accused of money laundering is out on bail. ये सब तो public को मालूम है. But I will just for the sake of your viewers, they should not be misled. Just in 20 seconds. The date was April 6th, 2023. Abhishek Manu Singhvi told the CJI Chandrachud, Mr. Chandrachud, that the ED is being weaponized. The word used by Mr. Singhvi was the ED has been weaponized. Yes. And what did Mr. Chandrachud say? 10 seconds, Rajdeep Sardesai. Himmat hai to suno. When you argue, you as in he said this to Abhishek Manu Singhvi. When you argue that there is a chilling effect and weaponization of the law by the ruling dispensation against opposition parties and opposition political leaders, the answer does not lie in the courts. The answer lies in the political space. And if you feel your space is being crunched, the answer lies in fighting and getting that political space politically and not via the judiciary.